On today's episode, we're going to talk about trees. Now, it's a wide subject area, and it'll take many episodes, I'm sure, to cover every aspect of it. But perhaps the first place to start is when to take a tree. Now, there's many good reasons why to take a tree down. Perhaps it's dead already, or you're trying to clear some land to make better use of it. Perhaps it's a wrong tree in the right place, and you want to replace it with a food-producing tree. And those are all good reasons. There's many others, I'm sure. We've got several here that are dead, and I want to reprocess them into firewood, and so that's what we're going to cover today. This is an area of our property that we've been clearing for years. When we first moved here, it was so overgrown in here that you couldn't even walk through. And it wasn't until the second year we were here that we got far enough back in here to find that we had 4 large trees that had fallen back here in the forest. Now, picture this is covered with brambles. Everything was overgrown. You couldn't see any of these logs in here. And so we slowly started cutting away, brush cutting, started with nothing more than limb loppers and a saw blade on the end of a line trimmer, and had one guy helping. He was mowing at the time. I didn't even have a mower to get back in here and mow my own grass, so he was mowing the property at the time, and he helped me clear all the small stuff out of here. And then mostly it was just blood, sweat, and tears, clearing all the brambles out, burning them, and getting down to these trees that had fallen. And got myself a couple of good chainsaws, started hacking away at these guys. I've still got, some logs left here that we're going to finish cleaning up this year. I love this time of year to do this kind of work. It's easy to walk through. Everything's dropped its leaves. You can see further. There's no mosquitoes and ticks. So it's a great time of year to do any sort of work for firewood or clearing land. Anyway, back to my story. We started with next to nothing, hand tools, and eventually got a good zero-turn John Deere and put a wagon on the back of it where I could roll logs up into it and move them where I could split them. And then we got bigger machines and better chainsaws, and we've cleared this out quite a bit. It's usable, it's fun. We've made little walking paths through here. It's really beautiful in the summertime. It's a great place to stroll. Now this tree, unfortunately, this was a beautiful tree, giant, but the inside of it had rotted out. I think termites got to it probably, and it fell. And I was very disappointed at the time. I kept probably 4 years worth of firewood. I don't need any firewood. And of course, it's a lot of work processing. Now this beast, it was sitting up there, actually leaning still up there. We just knocked it down the other day, and I had cut as far as I could. This part was leaning on the ground. The weight of the tree was leaning on this, and so I couldn't get a saw to it anymore until we knocked it down. I mean, we're going to prop it up today, set it on a stump, and get to sawing a little more. When it fell, unfortunately, there were casualties, and this guy's one of them. Look at this dude all bent over. Well, that's not a usable tree anymore. I mean, it's going to be deformed and not going to grow well, so we're going to push this one down as well and just process it into firewood. Don't you love winter in Tennessee? They do this every year, and you always think, well, they're going to die off. And they just, more and more of them grow. They just spread. Love it. Okay, so end of the day maintenance. We've got to keep our saw chains sharp for obvious reasons. This little Granberg grinder sort of have a love-hate relationship with it. The thing I really love about it is it's a little 12-volt grinder, and so if I'm out working somewhere, I can sharpen my saw right there next to the truck. I just hook this up to the battery, or I'll use this little lighter adapter and plug it in, and I can be in the middle of the woods and sharpen my saw, which is great. I don't like this though. I always look for efficiency and elegant solutions to problems, and this is kind of rigged. So eventually I think what I'll do is I'll relegate this to my toolbox. I'll probably get a dedicated bench grinder just for sharpening chainsaw blades. I think that's a much more elegant solution, and this will always stay ready to go when I'm out working. So I'm going to get to work, get my saws ready for next time, and then I'm going to build a fire with some of the wood I split last year. There's just nothing like a wood burning stove to warm your bones. A fireplace is cool, but a stove is different. I guess more infrared heat or whatever it is, there's just something that makes it warmer to your body. This stove is a Vermont Castings. This one has paid for itself in 2 seasons. They're remarkable at how much heat they put out, and of course the fuel you grow on your own, which makes that part free. My styles tend toward the contemporary, but I love the cast iron stoves. Gorgeous. And I love being able to heat my home with solar energy. And yes, this is solar energy. In fact, virtually all forms of energy that we use are solar energy. That great light that rules our day is the only nuclear reactor that I ever care to see us benefit from on our planet. It was placed there as a gift, and with the exception of geothermal energy, which accumulates heat from the center of the earth, all other forms are really just a battery holding past solar energy. So this tree grew for decades probably, absorbing the rays of the sun, and through its chemical reactions it provided lots of benefits while it was alive. It provided shade and beauty and habitat homes. And this particular tree wasn't a food tree, but if it was a food tree, even food for humans, if it was a pecan or a walnut or a fruit tree. And on top of that, it acted as a battery storing that solar energy. And when its life was done and it fell, and it did, I've never in my life taken a tree down just for firewood. They fall if you have enough land. Well, we're just sitting on 6 acres here, and enough wood falls out of the trees, and trees have a lifespan. Eventually they fall down. They can be reprocessed into firewood or planks of wood for building materials, or left to sit on the forest floor, and fungus will eat it and use it and return it back to the earth. We chip a lot of the small stuff that we take and use it as bedding for our chickens, and then it gets processed back into the garden to help feed us. So we want to keep all of our resources right here on the land where it grew. But yeah, solar energy. Wind energy is solar energy. So the differences in temperature of the air, which is created by the sun, causes wind. And we just capture it. Hydro. solar energy. The sun heats up bodies of water, the ocean or lakes, rises into the air, moves to higher elevations, drops as rain, and we capture that energy as it's trying to return from whence it came. And we convert that electricity into electricity from the sun. Wave energy is a form of wind energy. So again, solar for the most part. The lesser light that rules our night has some effect on that, creating tidal flows, but mostly it's wind energy and therefore sun energy. Oil. You drove today on solar energy. Oh snap, there's an inconvenient truth. That solar energy was absorbed by plants and animals and over a long period of time was converted into oil. And then we used other solar energy to heat that oil and created all of the byproducts of oil, one of those being gasoline. Solar energy. Coal, the same. Coal is solar energy. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a very strong advocate of clean energy. I hate nuke plants with a passion. The byproducts of a nuke plant lasts for thousands of years, and that's a major problem. So you'll never ever see me call a nuke plant clean energy. That's just dumb. But all other forms of clean energy I love, and I would rather have solar modules on my roof or a wind generator in my pasture than some of the other forms of energy. We use a lot of coal for electricity, and I think there are much cleaner ways to generate electricity than that. That's why I'm a huge advocate for electric cars, because like wood, I can create my own electricity on my property. It's very difficult to create my own coal or oil or natural gas, any of those other forms of energy. Electricity, right now it's pretty easy, and the price on solar has come down so drastically that it's very, very affordable. Solar, still my favorite. But I love this. I can rely on this. I can do it right here. It's not high tech. What's not to love about that?